Hey everyone, I'm back, and thank you all for subscribing and leaving comments. I really do appreciate that. It's really cool now to be a YouTube partner. Now, today, since remember yesterday I did a preview for the AFC, today I am doing a preview for the NFC. Now, I'm going to start this time going from the NFC West to the NFC East because the NFC East is probably the most competitive division, not just in the NFL, but I think in all of sports. Right now I'm going to start with the NFC West. Last year, the San Francisco 49ers ran away with the division. And this year, I think they do again. I think so far they're the best team in the division. I just dropped something. I believe they are the best team in the division. Hold on just one second. Alright, back. They have most of their core back with Alex Smith re-signing because there was talk that the 49ers were going to get Peyton Manning, but they ended up keeping Alex Smith. Frank Gore, of course. Now they added Randy Moss to the receiver core, which I'm still just trying to figure out, will Randy Moss still be the same Randy Moss that he used to be after being out of the game for a year? Also, Vernon Davis, tight end. And, of course, their defense, which is led by Patrick Willis. I think they are just still the same. I mean, Jim Harbaugh did a great job last year with that team. And I think they will win that division again. Seattle, I'm just not quite sold on Seattle. They decided to go with a rookie quarterback and not the big free agent signing Matt Flynn. They just don't, I don't know about them. I really don't. I think Arizona, though, finishes second in that division. But they're still not the Super Bowl team that they were some years back. Different quarterbacks, not Kurt Warner. They have Larry Fitzgerald still. But I think Arizona finishes second. They probably are an 8-8 team, but Seattle's probably a 7-9 team, and the St. Louis Rams are going nowhere. They're just terrible. They'll probably be the worst team in the NFC again. Now the NFC South, this is intriguing. Usually most people would pick the New Orleans Saints, but with all the whole Bounty Gate thing, which I could just do a whole nother video on, and how I think Roger Goodell kind of in a way unfairly treated the New Orleans Saints, because in my opinion what the New England Patriots did a few years ago by cheating is a lot worse than this so-called Bounty Gate. Besides, bounties are going on in all levels of football, whether it be NFL, whether it be college, whether it be high school. It's going on at all levels. But with Sean Payton, the head coach, suspended for the whole year, and the interim coach suspended for 8 games, I believe, and some guys on defense suspended. Drew Brees is still Drew Brees. He's still going to hit his targets, but I don't think they're going to be they're going to win the division. In fact, I don't think the Saints make the playoffs this year. I'm serious. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think Atlanta wins that division. I think now, granted, they had one of the worst playoff performances I've ever seen last year in their loss to the Giants, where they only scored 2 points. Matt Ryan is turning into his own, and he's got a great receiver in Roddy White and a fine running back in Michael Turner. I think the Atlanta Falcons win that division. I do think the Saints finish second. I think Carolina finishes third, but give them one more year, and we can really talk about them being serious playoff contenders. I mean, they have one of the most exciting players in the league in Cam Newton, and Steve Smith, though, is not getting any younger. But I think if Steve Smith hangs around after this year, we can watch the Carolina Panthers starting to make playoff pushes in the near future. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they just don't have anything. I think, yeah, they're a last place team. I mean, Greg Schiano's got to make an adjustment coming from Rutgers University to the NFL. It's just a huge adjustment. NFC North, again, a very good competitive blue-collar division. But I still think the Green Bay Packers not only win the division, I think they are the best team in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to be in the running for MVP again. I think right now you can really say the MVP is either going to be Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady of New England. Oh, you might if Denver really does do well, you might put Peyton Manning in that conversation. Excuse me, but I think Green Bay's just too. Yeah, I know they did have some problems on their defense last year, but I think they're going to have that answered this year. I think last year was a bit of a reality check in the playoffs against the Giants. This team does know what it takes to win the Super Bowl, and the running game does help a little bit with adding Cedric Benson to the running game, and in a division that he was a bit familiar with from his time with the Chicago Bears. So I look for the Green Bay Packers to win that division. And the Detroit Lions made the playoffs last year for the first time since 1999. Because, a couple years in a row, they've had some great draft picks with Calvin Johnson, the old Megatron there, Matt Stafford, and Ndamukong Suh. The running game is still a bit of a question mark, I think, for the Lions. But last year, Stafford threw for over 5,000 yards, and Megatron, of course, had a tremendous season. And Ndamukong Suh had a down year after his rookie year. But I think he's going to bounce back. I think the Detroit Lions are a better team. Well, I don't know if they were better last year. I think they are a playoff team. These aren't the same Lions we make jokes about. They really set a foundation. And last year, Stafford was healthy. A couple of his previous seasons, he was not as healthy. And that hurt the Lions. But when you have a really good quarterback and you have arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL, it just goes from there. The Chicago Bears, now some people are picking them to be a playoff team. I don't think they're a playoff team. As long as the Chicago Bears have Jay Cutler at quarterback, they're never going to be a perennial playoff team or even get to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't trust him at quarterback. The guy's a quitter. He quit on his team in the NFC title game a couple years ago, and he gets his feelings hurt easily. Like he got his feelings hurt in Denver, so he asked out. And they try to calm him down, and no, Jay Cutler's the most overrated player in the NFL. I know you can say Tim Tebow is, but Cutler is, in my opinion, the most overrated player in the NFL. I just think Tim Tebow gets way too much coverage for, I don't know why. But, no, the Chicago Bears are not a playoff team. They're 7-9 again. They're a 7-9 team. I know they got Brandon Marshall to shore up the receivers, but they're not a playoff team. Jay Cutler doesn't have it here. And the Minnesota Vikings, I don't want my boy Greg Long. My boy Greg, I hate to tell you this, but the Vikings are not going to do so well. It's going to be important to see how Adrian Peterson bounces back after having knee surgery last year. But, I think they'll be better than the 3-13 they were last year, but 5-11 maybe. Christian Ponder's still a development. Now to the most competitive division in probably all of sports, the NFC East. You have the Cowboys, Giants, who both are playing tonight, Eagles and Redskins. Every time one of these two teams play each other, one of these NFC East teams play each other, it's hatred. It's absolute hatred. And this is just very competitive. Who is going to win this division? Now, we know the Giants won the Super Bowl last year. But who's going to win this division? Well, I could tell you there's going to be two playoff teams from this division. I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this division. If Michael Vick stays healthy, LaShawn McCoy is a really good running back. He was, I believe, the top runner in the NFC last year. Deshaun Jackson, a really good receiver. Andy Reid always knows how to work with a defense. I think the Philadelphia Eagles win that division. I know they were supposed to win that division last year and go to the Super Bowl, but it just didn't happen. I think they had a reality check last year. I think they learned their lesson. I think they will play better this year. They played better down the stretch than they did early in the season. So I still think Philadelphia Eagles, they have to, or else Andy Reid's gone. I think if the Eagles miss the playoffs, Andy Reid's fired. And I hate to say that because Andy Reid's been a tremendous coach, especially for that team, especially for that organization. But I think this is a make-or-break year for Reid. And every time it seems to be a make-or-break year for him, he finds a way to pull through. And I think the Eagles win the division. I think the Giants finish second and get a wild card spot. Eli Manning finds a way to win late in the season to get the Giants in. I think the Giants like to play that team that gets in. What's funny is the Giants don't want to be the team to have home field advantage. They want to play that underdog role. They want to play that role where they just play a lot of games where it counts near the end, and they do it. And that's what they did last year. That's what they did a couple years ago when they won their first Super Bowl against New England. Or the first time they played New England Super Bowl, when they won their third Super Bowl title. But, yeah, the Giants will find a way. The Cowboys, now, I'm from Dallas. Every year, Cowboy fans think their team's going to the Super Bowl. Well, I'm telling you the truth. The Cowboys, they're no better than 8-8. I'm just not sure about the offensive line. Romo, I know they like to criticize Romo. He's actually not a bad quarterback. Last year, the defense did cough up a lot of games for the Cowboys. And they went in defense in the draft by drafting Claiborne from out of LSU to be corner. But I'm just not. They just find it just. The Cowboys will be good again if they fire the general manager. But Jerry Jones is not going to fire himself from being general manager of the Cowboys. Now, the Redskins, Daniel Snyder I will say this, the Redskins will never get to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl as long as Daniel Snyder owns them. This guy thinks he can just build a team like it's a fantasy football team, and it just never happens. It just doesn't happen. I love that him drafted Robert Griffin III. I think RG3 is going to be a fine quarterback. And they do have Mike Shanahan needs to realize that he doesn't have the team that he did in Denver when he had Elway and company. And the Redskins running game, I know he's been able to manage with running backs in Denver, but Washington hasn't. The Redskins, another 6-10 season, or 7-9 at best. The Redskins just don't get it done. Daniel Snyder just spends money. He overspends, especially that Albert Hainsworth contract. And then overpaid for Mark Brunell as well a couple years back. He's just known to do that. And the Redskins just aren't going anywhere. Neither are the Cowboys. I'm sorry. The Cowboys just... Everybody loves to play armchair quarterback. Besides, the Cowboys are now, the Texas Rangers kind of pushed the Cowboys out as the team of Arlington because the Rangers are like, hey, we've been here longer than you guys. Stop trying to come in and take our city. And the Rangers have played better the last few years than the Cowboys anyway. So anyhow, leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Let me know who you think. Who do you think is going to win the divisions in each of the divisions in the National Football Conference of the NFL? Who do you want to think who's going to go to the Super Bowl? Let me know who you think is going to go to the Super Bowl or who's going to win the division. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Tonight, Cowboys-Giants kickoff is tonight. Teams just don't lose home openers like this. I know I'm from Dallas. I'm a Cowboys fan, but if I were a bet man, I'd be betting for the Giants to win tonight. I think the Giants are going to win this tonight. They just have that mental thing go over the Cowboys right now. The Cowboys lost twice last year in Giant Stadium, once to the Giants, once to the Jets. And they're going back to Giants. Or I'm sorry, it's not Giants. It's MetLife Stadium now. I'm sorry, corporate, whatever. Anyhow, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. I will see you guys on Friday. I don't know what I'll be talking about. I'll figure something out. See you then. And let's watch some football!